Hi all, I hope you're doing well. So this is going to be for the females or anyone who gets their menstrual cycle. It's also going to be probably very beneficial if you're in pre or post whatever menopausal stage that you might be in, because it's going to be looking at a holistic point of view around why you are getting cramps beyond, or they might be intensified for these reasons beyond the normal reasons of getting cramps during your period or your menstrual cycle or certain phases within your life of whatever age you are as a female. So tune into the video because it's slightly different. Focus on your health, focus on a little holistic point of view, and these takeaways could actually help you. See you in the everyone. So when we're having our menstrual cycle, we often get horrific cramps or just cramps, depends on how you experience your cycle. If you are in pre or post menopausal, this could actually help you as well. Not because you're getting menstrual cycle cramps, but the tips that I mention could help you if you feel that you relate to them. And it's from the holistic point of view, mainly around Chinese medicine and the key flow within our body. So it's worth tuning in and listening. One of the things that the Chinese medicine herbalists always mention is the key blood flow, the key energy of our blood and emotions. And obviously the liver is the organ responsible for this mainly. It is also the most important organ system involved in the menstruation, which might be surprising to you. It was to me. And some of the things that could be messing with your key flow is if you're always skipping your breakfast, especially during your menstrual cycle or when you actually have your period, because the menstrual cycle obviously is a monthly thing, you're at different phases. But when you're actually having your period, skipping your breakfast is not ideal. And when you're coming onto your period, I would also say, and at the later stage where have you ever noticed when you're due on your period, you might start to get maybe feeling a bit more tired or getting a cold? It's because you're at a stage where your body is obviously trying to not protect itself, but it's in a more stress absorbing stage because you are also very fertile. And so you really need to respect your body and what it needs, and you need to give it the energy. It needs the food for the energy, and it might need the rest. And that's why they mention, or we mention in fitness, that you might feel your strongest in the first 12 days of your menstrual cycle. Now that is something that goes on in the fitness industry, that workout on your first days of your cycle. I think the first 3 days can be quite horrific, so you don't have to go in a hard strength training on those days. Do any exercise that feels good for you, and that would be great. So if you skip breakfast, it can feel a bit more stressful on your key energy flow. If you're staying up very late and lacking in sleep, this has also an impact. And we know it has an impact on our lives in general. So imagine when we're going through this cycle, our body is cycling. It's not only when we're receiving or we are having our period, okay, but also, like I said, you've got the luteal phase, ovulation phase, and your body, even if you're not seeing, your menstrual cycle, your blood's flow coming out, you are seeing your body is still working a certain cycle in life for either getting pregnant or whatever it is. And so there's hormones of going up and down, which we know. and it needs that support. Another thing that they mention is actually sleeping with wet hair. So if you're always sleeping with wet hair, especially during the beginning of your period and during your period, that's not going to be good for you. I bet that's a bit of a shocker. I mean, I don't sleep with wet hair. I can't stand anything wet on my pillow. So yeah, try to avoid that. A diet that is too cold. I've been guilty of this, and I still have to work on it. I'll dive into that in a moment. Overexertion, like I said, we have to support our phase. And overexertion, getting yourself overstressed, not sleeping well, overtraining even, pushing your boundaries, working overtime, working late is not really great. And that's where I would say overextending is not good as well. If you are feeling you're coming to burnout and you're overextending yourself, that is not going to be great for you either. So when we continually engage in the habits that I've just mentioned, which are very six that I picked up that I really felt would stand out, we are weakening the liver and digestive system. And that's why I know about too cold foods, because I have IBS and it's triggered from stress. Even though I'm a meditation breathwork coach, that's how I try to manage it. But the weakening and these habits can lead to more painful periods, headaches, migraines around your period. By period, I mean when you're actually releasing the blood flow. This can happen from a diet of heavy, raw, cold foods, which are excessive, repressed emotions and toxins, overworking, lack of proper rest, and even stress, the 6 habits that I just mentioned. And even going to bed or going outside with wet hair can disrupt the key flow energy. It's really important during your period to keep your meridians warm for the free flow of blood that needs to come out and detox. Have you ever felt you've got really difficult period cramps and you grab a hot water bottle and you just put it on your stomach and it just suddenly eases? If you've not tried it, try it. If you've tried it, let me know in the comments. Maybe it's something you always go to, but that is the warmth. And these factors prohibit, like I said, supporting the body adequately and leaving room for intensified cramps. If you saw the intro, I was very careful at how I word this, because these are not the reasons that you will get cramps. These are the reasons that if you suffer from cramps, you are going to have possibly, doesn't mean so, but possibly these are going to intensify the cramps. And by looking at these things during your period when you're releasing the blood flow, it's probably going to lessen the intensified feeling of your cramps. And if you get minor cramps, this is probably going to help you maybe even eliminate to the point where you don't necessarily feel many cramps or pain or be laid up. Some women actually feel like they have to lay up especially the first couple of days. And sometimes we go through a cycle where it's okay, and sometimes we go through a cycle where it's heavier. It's fine, just respect your body during that time. If you don't have menstrual cramps, I would still look at these things that support your system. We're talking about supporting our system, and these things can really help. Emotions like anger, anxiety, depression, I also know are filtered through our liver and gallbladder, just from, studying and my familiarity of sort of the meridians through the yoga I do. What not to do when you're nearing your period or on your period, I would say, is overexert yourself in any area of life. Rest, relaxation is crucial and is extremely underrated in our lives right now. Strenuous exercise is stressful to the body. The body does not distinguish between stress equals stress. So you're feeling physical stress, and that's why I say you'll hear in the fitness industry that you're at your strongest in the first days of your cycle up until 12 days. After 12 days, you need to really be careful, because that's where your body is trying to prepare itself for the natural cycle of, wanting to get pregnant. And it goes into a more protective mode and tries to stop you from overexerting yourself by you maybe feeling you've got a cold, or you need to lay in bed for an extra couple of hours. You're just feeling a bit more lethargic. It is true that your hormones during the first 12 days support you to strength train, because you will be a bit stronger. But I always say this to clients, because they hear it in terms of the fitness industry. The first few days, or whatever day you feel you need rest, you must take it. Forget that, okay, I'm supposed to be at my strongest. Why am I not at my strongest? To be quite frank, the first couple of days can be really tough, and I don't feel my best on the first days that I can do heavy weightlifting. I also recommend, just in case you have a coach or you don't have a coach, do not do a back workout. If you do strength training, don't work on your back even if it's your back day, on the first couple of days. And also you might want to avoid ab workout on the first couple of days, or at least the first day. It could even be the back workout. If you're feeling already you're getting your period and sore, you might even feel the day before you want to avoid the back workout. That's just a little tip. Another thing I would say is saying yes when you want to say no is a no-no during your period, and you'll have a harder menstrual cycle. Make sure you're honoring your boundaries. Make sure you're honoring what you feel, what you need to do. Drink iced water, iced drinks, iced caramel latte, raw foods that are, sort of cold, like for example, it could be salads, and not necessarily supportive of the system. And that's where warmer foods support your system. And I think we know that when we've got menstrual cycles, sometimes we feel like a warm cup of tea. How nice is it to have a warm cup of tea? You can have a sneaky bicky with it as well. But a warm cup of tea appeals more than an iced drink. Well, at least it does to me. And it supports your key energy flow. Just on another note, the spleen is responsible for transforming nutrients into ki, and then the liver makes sure the flow of ki is smooth for the efficient transport. Ki moves the blood. So can you see how it all ties in? And this is why some of the yoga I do Ashtanga, I do hatha flows, and I used to be very much in them, but a lot of the yoga that I do is around the front body, the spleen, targeting the goal, targeting different areas. And that's how I also help my clients come into balance, where we do a session, or if it's about trauma, or if it's about energy healing. You'll find on my website, one of the methods is through energy healing, but also through asanas and postures, because I do believe in a release in that. So that's my takeaway on that. I hope you found it beneficial. I think it's something that you might not always find circulating in the fitness industry or in general, because it's not really spoken about. There's always one mainstream message that gets pushed forward. And I think that's why my videos are focused on your mind, body and soul, because it's that alignment that we sometimes need, and it's also respecting where we need to be. If you're a male that's watched through this just to get a general understanding, big thumbs up to you, and maybe you can give those tips to your female loved ones. And if you're a female that's watched this, big thumbs up to you as well, because you're learning about your body beyond what you might have thought in the beginning. I'm just going to click away. I know about my menstrual cycle. I've seen this role model. I've listened to this. I've listened to that. But I can guarantee you've taken some takeaways. You've also learnt the liver. You've learnt the gallbladder. You've learnt the spleen, and you've learnt the circulation. You've learnt some tips in terms of supporting yourself during your period. You've learnt that during your period, if you're feeling like you're having crappy days, you don't have to listen to ex-fitness person who has 2 million followers on Instagram that says you get up and do your strength training. So I hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Let me know if you've taken any takeaways from this. Let me know if you liked this. If you're a subscriber, let me know what content you want me to focus on. Or if you've got any questions, let me know. If you want to work with me, the details are in the description box below as well. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.